Hi again. We're just going to have a little look at a couple of features that people forget to use. They're really useful features in Artec Studio, especially if you've got a product that's got really good texture to it. That could be a pattern like this can. There's many other drink cans available, of course. So what we're going to look at is that on your screen, a lot of people do this to start with. They come in here and they probably scan several items or views of the items that you want to use. And then they look about how to go in and edit these, how to clean them up. So why not just save yourself a lot of time by using a couple of features in the scan tab. So here we go, we call up the scanner, and the most important thing is we're going to use geometry and texture tracking by default. We can also here say that we're going to use our turntable. The Artec turntable is perfect for doing this. However, you can just use a manual turntable. But the other thing we're going to do is say enable automatic base removal. And first we're going to make our scan. So what we're going to do is take our can. It's just a cylinder, so it lacks geometry features really. We'll call up our turntable and we'll make a quick scan. You know the plan here that you need to always be actually turn on your scanner, point towards the base. So I aim towards the base first and it turns with the checkerboard. This is the same with Leo and other scanners and Eva as well. Once you start scanning, we can actually go around the part, and what we can do is we can move up and down the part here and move around, taking in the base, taking in the shape, moving around the shape. And just make sure that you cover it, maybe tilting your scanner. Don't forget to use the wrist. I'm doing it this way just so to give a little bit of indication of what we're trying to do. Move away, let's get the lid. Unfortunately, the lid is a very silver metallic aluminium lid. So what you can do is actually move around here. I just need to move back a little bit so I can get to this. Point on top of the lid a bit more to make sure I cover all the area on the top. And then we're ready to stop. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we can actually say to the software is we need to auto-align the scans with the marked scan in the workspace. So we can actually turn this feature on. Then what we can do is make sure you've selected the scan in the workspace. And now you can move your can. So for example, we'll turn it upside down. We'll put it down there. This time what we want to do is we'll still use the base removal and we can point at the base. And this time I want to pick up on the shape here. So I move over to the side of the can. The software will pick up on the texture that you've used before, and you can then move up here and start scanning the top. Always keep the texture in view, and you can see we can move around here until we've actually gone around 360 degrees. Sometimes it's worth coming back down the side a little bit to make sure that you've got good texture around the side. You can move in here. I can take the shape. So don't forget, moving in and out, keeping it green is a useful thing. So what we're going to do is stop, put our scanner safely down, and we just move over to the software now. So all you really need to do is you can say, use the normal functions of tools and everything, but autopilot will do the job for us quickly. So we can say base removal. You'll notice that both the scans are still in line with each other, okay? We can run through the tools here and select the scans. Don't select all because we've got our previous scans over here that we don't want to use. Press next. We have actually got, it's not that brilliant geometry really, so some people may come and say that it's bad geometry, but it doesn't really matter because what we've got is good texture. Is it hard to scan? You remember the tools here, so if it's shiny, well, the lid is a little bit, but I don't think I've got a lot of noise on here. So I'm going to just let it run through and we'll continue with the next operation. So it says, do you want to do some editing? Well, we haven't got to clean away all the base and the other area, so it makes it a lot easier for us. And here we go, we'll say next. Comes into the editing mode. I should have said skip this mode, so I can just say do next. And it says, do you want to align? Well, some people say we want to do the auto alignment, but it's already done. Actually, if you don't want to do any alignment whatsoever, the easiest way is actually to say align manually and then just press next. We're going to go through the operations here for global registration. So this little sequence will take a time. There's no hiding anything really from what we're trying to do. So let's just let it run through and see what happens. The software detected a little bit of outliers on the shape, so therefore it's running the outlier removal. You find that if you do a shape that was just non-reflective, the outlier tool would probably decide that it didn't need to run. You can force that in the autopilot by saying, I'd like it to use the outlier removal for hard to scan surfaces, but we didn't turn that on. The software made this judgment for us. We're now going into the Fusion. It takes a moment or two to load the data back off a disk. Remember, with the new features of Artec Studio 17, we've got this ability that the software will automatically offload onto disk your data. If you don't touch the data in the workspace within 10 seconds, it's automatically offloaded. But as soon as you click it, it reloads. So therefore the Fusion takes a moment or two to go, I need to reload the data. So we get this delay in Fusion. Fusion progresses forwards, and next thing it will run is to check there's any small objects, and we'll apply that filter. The other things that we've got to do is run the mesh simplification. You can see here very quickly it's moved on to that. It helps reduce down the amount of data. Whenever the autopilot's working, you can actually look at your part, you can move around and see what's been going on. Here we come with the simplification. The default is actually to use it by checking the tolerance between the model surface, and then the next part comes to apply the texture. Obviously some people just want a cylinder in this case, so we might not need texturing. The important thing is to know that it maps the texture from your original scans. So if we click in here, our original 2 scans are these spider scans, so this is where it's taking the texture from. It's applying them to your Fusion. The next part of this will be just to optimize the texture. There is some delay going on here. You'll notice that what's happening is I'm taking a bit of time, and we've now come up with our model and we've got a shape done. And that's just showing you a couple of the features by using the tools and coming in here and consider using aligning to previously marked scans, base removal, using the turntable is really useful. So hopefully this helps you a little bit further on. Thanks very much for watching, and let's hope it helps you a bit further.